Last year around this time, it was Benelux who won the World Simulation Football Classic with a spirited 2-1 win over West Africa in the final. But a year has come and gone, and we are once again here at the World Simulation Football Classic. Will Benelux be able to defend their title, or will we see a new champion emerge? Hello, everyone. I am Metafiction. I am joined today by Max, and it is going to be a fantastic tournament.
Yes, yes, yes. We got quite a few good teams in action today. Benelux, British Isles. I mean, I think the match of the day is going to be the Pyrenees Union versus the Alpine Federation, and then Oceania versus USA. Two, I think, more low-key contenders, but the USA are going to want to make an impact, especially after the way that they finished off you know, last World Cup.
Indeed, a lot of eyes on the United States after their, has to be said, dismal showing last time out. Didn't even manage a point in their group stage matches. I'm not even sure they scored a goal, to be quite frank. But nevertheless, they're really going. There's a lot of expectation on them. They're hoping to do a lot better, but as I said, also West Africa and Benelux finalists last time around and are sharing a group this time, so it's going to be a very interesting dynamic. But we'll get to those matches in a bit as you said, the first match on the docket today, Pyrenees Union against the Alpine Federation.
What an interesting formation for the Alpine Federation so far. This is going to be a really interesting group. I mean, you got four like pretty solid teams. It's really going to be interesting who comes out first, who comes out. I mean, in my opinion, I think Pyrenees Union are just a step above the rest, so they might have an easier time making first. But there's always a chance for a little bit of a surprise, especially in your first match day, where you're not too warm.
We are underway here at the third annual World Simulation Football Classic. Pyrenees Union kicking us off, going left to right in the blue and red.
I mean, the Pyrenees Union just playing a normal five-back. We've seen that so many times, including in the league. I think we're going to see a lot around this football classic. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matches up against. Can you count this as a 4-2-4?
I think by the letter of it, yeah, it would be four up front and then four in the back line and only two midfielders, but certainly a bit of an unorthodox way of deploying that formation.
Most definitely. I mean, they're going with what, three central. What a steal by Fry.
Fry bringing it forward here. Alpine with a chance for first blood. Fry puts it past the keeper, and Bernardo Fry, with the first goal of the WSFC.
You know, I can't come up with anything too great. But what a great goal from Bernardo Fry. The goal speaks for itself. When the commentators can't make up a fantastic phrase for it. Maybe Fry cooked. No, this is not working.
Witticisms aside, we are 1-0 to Pyrenees Union. As Alpine Federation, I apologize, I got them wrong earlier. They're the ones in the blue and red. They're kicking off after going down a goal. Going to have to be very careful with those back passes. They just got burned on one. Here's Del Pirlo. Trying the through ball, but can't find the forward there. Voda laying it inside. Caetano. And the strike from Trequartista levels it, pending VAR.
I think that one was off, unfortunately. I've been wrong before. Hey, it's going to count.
Well, we'll see.
It's going to count.
It was a fantastic goal.
A nice little dink over the top to find Trequartista, and you know, when you got a striker like Trequartista, like, they know where to be at the right time, and this is no different. Leveling the match early. I think this is going to be a really good game.
You have to give a call to that pass from Caetano, an absolutely brilliantly laid off effort that split the defense and just put it in exactly the right place.
I honestly thought Caetano was Portuguese. I think Alpine Federation is going to be very happy that he's not.
At the moment for sure, but at the other end, it's Andres Pedrillo who has gotten the lead back for Pyrenees. I'm not pronouncing a single word correctly tonight.
Me neither. Me neither. I think that I've
It's
said
the hype, is what it is. It's the excitement.
Exactly. We'll learn the name sooner or later. But I mean, this is what happens when you don't clear your lines. Fensterhausen had a pretty easy chance to get it away. Same with Moretti. But when you're made to pay, you're made to pay. And who else is going to make you pay besides the Pyrenees Union? We're going with that pronunciation.
I believe so, yes. And there's another one for them. It's Nathan Cormier. This might be offside as well, but VAR is looking at it. This would be a huge boom. This would double their advantage.
It's going to count.
And it will stand.
I mean, wow. 2 quick strikes like that. Cormier getting over Caetano, who had the assist earlier. I mean, defending's really letting the Alpine Federation down. 3 really quick goals. I mean, they scored 3 within 30. It could get ugly from here.
Well, you called it at the start of the broadcast, Max. The Pyrenees Union, perhaps the favorite to win the group, and they are showing why so far in this first half. They've had a real cutting edge about them so far, as the Alpine Federation tried to bring this game back into control. It's not going to be easy.
I don't know why, but like to me, I think at least watching them the friendlies, they had a lot of really good moments of brilliance. But here's Cotswold.
Fry forward, and that shot pushed behind. Comes in near post from Cotswold, and that's headed over.
But yeah, just I guess before an interesting chance by the Altai, I'm gonna get this off real quick. They looked really good in the friendlies, but there was a couple moments where I thought maybe they have a little bit of some cracks that might make them the reason why they're not champions. But I think that the finals for sure gonna be where they're at by the end of this tournament.
It's a bold prediction. You heard it here first. They certainly look the part of finalists here today so far. 3-1 up, leading this first half. As Alpine trying to come forward a little bit, but that pass intercepted again. It happened before earlier. And here they come. Cross blocked. They're trying again. Lays it off. Bringing it into the box. Cotswold, and it's into Julian Rubio. Pyrenees with a huge statement of intent here on match day 1.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how this team's fair. No, I mean, you're born where you're born, of course. But just when you have strikers like Cotswold, Fry, Jogo Benito on the left, it's really just a fun thing to watch. I love watching this team, and they're looking just so huge right now. In terms of just showing that they have what it takes to become champions, at the very least make the final.
Those who have been around a while will remember that in the very first WSFC, Pyrenees Union highly touted to get fairly far with the combination of Franco Torres and Budget Busquets, but ultimately their infighting couldn't quite... It resulted in them effectively not even making it out of the group. So to say they've come a long way from those days is hardly an overstatement. There's some scrambling in the box here for Alpine, trying to get one back before the half, but have been pushed a little bit further back into midfield, and that is going to be it for the first half.
What a first half from the Pyrenees Union. 7 shots on target, 4 of them goals. I mean, Twingo Toast isn't a bad goalkeeper by any means, but when you just have players like Cotswold, Rubio, Bonito, Bernardo Fry, I could name the whole team there and be like, these are all fantastic players. I'd say it's, if not, it's not surprising why they're doing so well.
Indeed, they've been dominant from the word go here, completely swarming Alpine, who, it has to be remembered, are a very talented team in their own right, but Pyrenees just a class above so far today.
I mean, I think you put them in like basically any other group, and they'd be having a very different match day. They have some fantastic players too, but it's just when you're a step above, you're a step above.
And that sort of comes with the territory in a tournament like this, where all of the best players in each region or nation, in some cases, coming together. Sometimes the chemistry works, sometimes it just doesn't. And for Pyrenees, it's looking like it works. Cotswold putting in the cross, though. Parried away, still in danger, but now Alpine perhaps with a chance at a counterattack. Voda worked out to Fensterhausen. Cotswold in pursuit, dribbles into the box, and does win the corner. Chance to do something here as Del Vecchio standing over it. Sent near post. It's worked back out. And that's pushed behind for a corner at the other side.
And so still not having to do too much today, but coming up with a pretty big save right there.
Del Pirlo will try again for the Alpine Federation, and that's headed over the bar. Some better chances so far early on in this first half for the Alpine Federation, but they're going to need a lot more than that if they're going to catch up to this deficit. Del Vecchio, taking advantage of a loose touch, brings the ball back forward, but that pass not quite where it needed to be. Passing in, and it's way offline, and the Alpine player just couldn't quite get it on target, but it was deflected behind. I believe that was Cortista again.
Gotta do better there. That's a pretty nice chance to get, and against a team like the Pyrenees, you can't be missing your chances when you get them like that.
Certainly not at a time like this.
Who do you think had a better start to the match day? I guess to the football classic, Benelux or Pyrenees this time around? Of course, it's been a while.
Well, ultimately, honestly, I don't remember, but Del Pirlo has just scored for Alpine, which might build the case in favor of Benelux, depending on whether VAR allows it. I seem to remember Benelux being pretty dominant early on in that WSFC. It always seemed like they were going to be in the final, but that goal, by the way, disallowed. Alpine does not double their score tally so far.
Yeah.
And that's a close one.
True. But it did always look like it was going to be offsides, unfortunately, for the Alpine Federation. You know, that's also another characteristic of being just a fantastic team when you're able to, as a backline, really step up and do what you do in practice.
Indeed, as another dangerous chance for Pyrenees results in another corner. Those passes from outside into the box along the ground have been so dangerous for Pyrenees today. They got, I believe, their second off of one of those. Every time you see it roll into the box like that, you just have to hold your breath, just because they've got so many people that can just finish off those chances with aplomb.
When you got Cotswold on the right, it's really, even watching the player, I get scared whenever they make it their way up towards the byline. It really does get scary, especially with that kind of speed.
Ball cleared, but ultimately ending up back in the Alpine half, at least for a moment. Del Pirlo's pass offline, and now here come the Pyrenees again. Cotswold. Trying to get around to the end. It's lofted in, and it's ultimately sent away. And now a break here for Alpine. We let Santori with the through ball. And the shot into the goal. What a move that was for Alpine. But
So
VAR is looking at it.
Oh, my word.
And it won't stand. Another goal disallowed for the Alpine Federation.
You gotta feel bad for the Alpine Federation right there. Oh, that's a hair's whisker.
And that's a heartbreaker.
Cat's whisker?
It's some kind of whisker at any rate.
Yeah, but that is so tough for the Alpine Federation. I mean, they've scored, what is it, 3 goals this game? Only one has counted.
Now, it's certainly not for lack of effort, but Alpine finding themselves behind the 8 ball in a major way with just over 15 to play here on match day 1. You have to think the other teams in their group, Oceania and the US, playing in a little bit. I mean, you have to wonder where the points are coming from, if not here. They've shown they can get the ball in the net. It's just a matter of staying on side. As in comes the ball from Pyrenees, and the referee giving a penalty.
It looks soft. But yeah, no, this is a really tough group. I think for any of the other 3, it's going to be a real battle. You know, the Alpine Federation, Oceania, and the USA are really going to be kind of fighting out. I think the USA might just fare better than the other 2. But, you know, if history repeats. But here's Ruby on the penalty.
And it's saved. What a big save that was.
I mean, a 3-goal deficit's still tough, but I think Twinkle Toes is going to be very proud to not have made it 4.
If nothing else, just keeping that hope alive for a little bit longer. Going to be a huge morale boost for that Alpine team. Ball through, and the strike. And that goes just over.
I mean, the Pyrenees are still attacking heavily. Look at that XG chart. And it could be, they could easily have had maybe 5 or 6 or 7 goals today, but just wasn't meant to be. And the Alpine Federation, I think, are going to want to see if they can get at least 1 back. Santori losing it out there.
Goal difference will matter in the case of a tiebreaker, so certainly both teams have incentive to keep attacking no matter what. Alpine to try and level the deficit a little bit and meanwhile Pyrenees to try and boost that GD as much as they can.
I think that always begs the question, like, what are you supposed to do when you're facing just a fantastic team in the group stage and you need the 3 points to survive, but you know that if you leave your back line unattended, it's going to get ran through. Are you just supposed to defend out the whole game and hope that you get 1 counterattacking goal or go for it?
I might not be the right person to ask that question, I'll be honest. My instinct would be to just throw everything you've got at them, and it doesn't matter if they score 10 as long as you score 11.
You know, that's not a bad philosophy to have.
Keep in mind, I also am the reason the U.S. didn't win a game last time. Meanwhile, Marcel Voda seems to have scored, and this time the referees will let them have it.
What just happened? Did someone go down in the box? Literally, not a single person went down in the box, and they, I guess, still wanted to call a penalty. Fantastic move by Alpine Federation, just showing a little bit of brilliance there, and this time, staying on sides.
So as I was saying earlier, the goal difference could be very important later on, and who knows how important that goal might be in the final reckoning, but for the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to affect the result too much overall. As Pyrenees still very likely, barring some bizarre act of, I don't know, the time-space continuum collapsing or something, likely to walk away with the 3 points here.
I mean, you could always shove a couple dodge in the ref's pocket and have the time go to like 90 plus 11, get 2 goals off of that. But it doesn't seem like that happened.
Who do they think they are, Manchester United? Nevertheless, it is 4-2 to Pyrenees Union here on match day 1 to kick off the World Simulation Football Classic.
You killed me with that. Back to the actual important game and not how do you describe a club like that? It's not, you can't put it into words. All right, back to the real game. The Pyrenees Union, I think that they really showed their stuff. Had a little bit of a lapse of judgment, I think, towards the end. But the Alpine Federation quite literally scored four goals this match. Had 2 of them been on sides, it would have been a tie game. As I said, the Pyrenees Union during the friendlies, I think that I saw a lot of brilliance from them. But it just seems like during the second half, they just turn off a little bit. But they do tend to really just slam an opponent in the first half. So maybe if you get a little bit shut-eyed in the second, it doesn't matter that much.
So a very solid victory for Pyrenees Union. 3 points they can put in the bank, looking very strong going into this tournament.
Now we got
Next,
a very fantastic game between Oceania and the USA. I think this is a 6-point game. I mean, all of these games are 6-point games, right? But especially considering the stage. But I think especially in this Group C, Oceania and the USA, we might have maybe an inkling. Of course, the Alpine Federation could always give maybe a little bit of a shake up of things if they beat the USA next go around. But this might determine the second in the group.
an absolutely critical match for both teams. We've said before, Group C could very well be the group of death in this tournament. You could really make a case for any 2 of these 4 teams advancing. So every single match is going to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, most definitely. You think that the USA is going to score a goal this game?
I certainly hope so. Speaking as an American, I have no other biases beyond that, I promise.
Of course. Yeah.
I made it 2 years keeping my journalistic integrity intact, and I've thrown it all away. I hope you're happy.
I am. I very much am.
This was your plan all along.
Yeah.
As we are underway here, USA in the red and blue, naturally, bringing it forward, trying to find that accurate attack, but stymied by the defense of Oceania. Trying to build through the middle here.
You think you're gonna you ever seen that AC Milan commentary where the announcer just completely just shouts like a madman for AC Milan and then slowly cries?
I make no promises.
No, we keep our journalistic integrity in the producing box, of course.
I mean, you've still got yours. I threw mine away just now. Nevertheless, he gets some actual analysis here. I believe there's a player forced off for Oceania. That's going to be a huge blow. Fortunately, I couldn't quite make out who that was.
I think it was Nelson that came off. It's really unfortunate for the player. But here's Martel. Martel might have a chance, and Ball just makes a fantastic save right there.
I believe that was Beakley Eilish on the ball, just absolutely robbed there. Some heads-up play by the U.S. attack, and they do win the corner from it. Greer puts in the cross, on its way all the way out, and ultimately headed away.
The USA starting off strong this match. Yeah, I think it was That did say Nelson. I'm not too sure who came on for them though, but that's why you bring up more than just the starting 11 to the football classic.
Absolutely. And we've seen these teams rotating in the friendlies as well. We'll have to see if that's still part of the strategy here in the actual tournament. As here's a through ball. And Eilish, it looked like, was able to get a foot in, and it goes behind, I believe, a wayward shot for a goal kick. And that shot from Power blocked behind, and it's another corner. USA really pressing the attack, but haven't been able to find any end product so far.
I was about to just say the exact same thing. They're looking so strong right now. I mean, this is looking good for the USA so far.
Angry Lizard does appear to have picked up a knock for the United States. They'll have to monitor that as the match goes on. We just saw a player going off from injury for Oceania. A diving header there. I believe that was McFootcakes. Now here's Martel. Plays the 1-2, floats one in. And now Oceania on the attack here, but a good intervention there by McFootcakes to stymie that move. Now Greer, the veteran, puts the cross in, and that's headed well over.
I mean, Oceania really haven't gone into the USA's box whatsoever, but I always love to see players that put their bodies on the line, especially for your national team. It's always good to see that kind of grit and heart.
Oh, and that was very nearly a heart-and-mouth moment there for Oceania. That back pass nearly going so awry, but perhaps fortunate to only concede the corner there.
I mean, I think they just struck the lottery only receiving a corner there, but Fanto Ben's having another shot and way wide, unfortunately, for Fanto Ben's.
Worked in the middle, but ultimately sent away. McFootcakes. Having to send it all the way back to the keeper. Those kinds of passes always give you a bit of a heart attack because one foot to either side, and that's probably the most embarrassing possible own goal. All in the middle, and the long shot there. And that was, shall we say, optimistic.
Rare in a dream, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that this game, especially for Oceania, is showing them that they have like a lot of nerves. The USA has been really on the front foot so far, but that's the thing. You have a little bit of a chance to take a breath. It's a little bit dangerous when you don't score, when you've been so on top of the other team like that. Oceania could come out at the second half and really give the USA a startle.
Oceania haven't had a shot so far in this match. The USA having pretty much the entirety of the possible scoring chances, but nothing to show for it. That's going to be a huge boost to Oceania, having survived 45 minutes of essentially siege warfare and coming out with the clean sheet still intact.
Those walls got to be pretty high, I think, at this point, especially given the fact that the USA have been going for a lot of headers.
Well, hippity hoppity making their way onto the pitch for Oceania, and no subs for the United States. We'll have to see if that affects either team's strategy as we head into the second 45. It's Greer with the corner. Sending it near post. And that's headed over once again. We've had pretty much everything. Go ahead, sorry.
No worries. I think Oceania has been really, I might just jinx them right now. There it is, Charlie Chambers with a fantastic header.
You didn't even have to finish the sentence to jinx them that time.
You know,
It's a set-piece goal for the United States. It's a great set-piece routine. Greer delivering it right onto Charlie Chambers' head. Chambers, the former Tokyo player, one of Greer's former teammates. They've had plenty of practice with that connection. Here they come again. It's Fantabens. Greer trying to get around the defense. Puts the cross in, headed up into the air, and ultimately cleared. Ball really high in the air there, but nothing comes of it.
I think it was Big Mac Johnson off the crossbar, if I'm not mistaken. Really close from the USA to making it too.
Through ball here. It's a really good chance for Fantabens, but gets pushed away.
I think that's like Fantabens' like second just incredible chance, and they've scuffed it both times. They got it. I think that the Fantabens and the USA are thinking they're lucky stars that Oceania have just shown not even a single pulse of life so far.
Without a doubt. It seems like the U.S. has had everything except the finishing today. Chambers' goal notwithstanding.
Thankfully, I mean, it's the first group match. They're playing really well against a team that unfortunately, I think I expected better of. But it's only a 1-goal lead. It's still a lot of time to change the game. 25 minutes.
USA did make the knockouts of the very first WSFC, making the quarterfinals before being eliminated. Obviously, we all know what happened at the last WSFC. They'll be hoping that third time's the charm.
I mean, they've scored, 1 goal. That's already better than last time.
More than that, if they can hang on another 10 minutes or so, they'll have 3 points more than they got at the last tournament. Ball goes in, and Pete Martell doubling the lead. And what a move that was.
I mean, we all know how clinical Pete Martell is playing for Hollywood. I'd expect it no different this time. Right place, right time. Just Kawasaki unable to clear their lines, and Fantabens providing a pretty nice assist there, especially being able to get through the legs of Kawasaki. The USA, I think, are looking real good and are going to be very happy with the result of this game.
I couldn't agree more with that. As time winding down here in added time, USA comfortably ahead 2-0. Surely have the 3 points locked up at this point. Still pushing for more as that shot goes over the bar. And there's your final whistle. The USA, for the first time since the very first WSFC, have won a match in the group stage. 2-0 the final score as they defeat Oceania here on match day 1.
It's got to feel good to be a fan of the USA right now. I mean, you wouldn't know whatsoever. But
no, I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah, of course not. I think that they played fantastic this match. Unfortunately, the finishing just wasn't there. But you come out with the 3 points. Your striker scores. Can you really ask for anything else? Your defense doesn't. I don't think that Oceania had a single shot. Most certainly not a shot on target. If your defense is playing like that, I mean, you only need a goal to win if your opponent scores 0. So it's not bad whatsoever by the USA. A very strong showing. I think, in my opinion, a little bit stronger than the Pyrenees Union.
Well, that is a very bold statement to make. We'll have to see when they do clash later on in this group phase. But for the moment, both Pyrenees Union and the United States with 3 points from this first match day. So next up, we move on to Group D, where we start out with West Africa meeting up against British Isles. As I said before, West Africa, one of the finalists last time out, were defeated by their group mate Benelux. So they'll be hoping to go one step further and win it all this time. But British Isles, perhaps one of the pre-tournament favorites to win it all, so it's going to be very stiff opposition.
I mean, the British Isles have quite literally. I mean, the Pyrenees Union, fantastic. The USA, I mean, just the whole Group C is very, very good. But the British Isles, I mean, you look at their roster, and I don't think I see a single hole in there. Though, I do gotta say, we've said these things about the British Isles before in previous football classics, and you know, things happen.
They certainly do, and you never really can tell whether they're going to be able to live up to that potential or not. We've seen them fall a little bit short of where we sort of expect them to be in the past. This is probably going to be their best chance to really assert their authority and make a name for themselves here at the WSFC. They've certainly not been given the easiest group to do it with, as they have to share it with the defending champions, Benelux.
I mean, if there's anyone that you want to beat, it's going to be the defending champion, especially to kind of show your dominance early in this cup. But first, they gotta go against West Africa, which are maybe not the best out of this group in terms of just player on player ability, but as a team, you can do great things.
We'll be hoping to get a little bit of that energy from the last tournament, but here come, I believe that's the Isles, and it's headed in by Eric Belmont very quickly, pulling ahead 1-0.
The cheat code himself, Eric Belmont, the demon of the minor leagues, an absolute predator when it comes to everything that is being a striker, especially in the minor leagues. Comes up big again for the British Isles, starting off the match incredibly strong within the first 2 minutes. West Africa already down early. They're going to really have to come out and see if they can get a quick equalizer.
They are building through the middle here. Ali Dia with possession. Ultimately forced all the way back to the goalkeeper. Long ball from Buffoon, and it's headed down. And a dangerous ball has landed at the foot of Dom Patterson, and that is 2-0. I'll have to take another look at that. That developed very quickly.
It's like a cross from Paya that I think Albinson gets to before Grimace, and Patterson just has to. I really don't know what to call that kind of shot, but I'm telling you, you look at this British Isles team and you're like, okay, they have Eric Belmont. We got to watch out for them, and then you got to look kind of towards the right of that three at their front formation. You see Scott and Dom Patterson both just looking to score as many goals as possible. You got to ask yourself, what do I even do?
I was looking for redemption there, trying to thread the ball into a do, but Asprey was awake to it. Super Hoops hitting the ball, trying to find a teammate in the middle, but it falls back with West Africa, at least for a minute. Now here's Scott dribbling through, and that's a corner.
Bassett coming up big there.
Back out to Albinson. And another corner kick. Well, I think that was a corner kick. Nevertheless, here's the shot, and that's Trick Johnson to potentially make it 3 if VAR allows it. but they won't. It's ruled out.
West Africa are gonna have to, be thinking their lucky stars right there. It wasn't that close, but close enough to give a little bit of a heart attack. I guess a micro heart attack. West Africa really has to show something. I mean, they had a moment earlier, but when you have a moment, I feel like, especially against the British Isles, you got to take every single one of those.
Without a doubt. As the Isles continuing to pile on the pressure here, but there's a chance here at the other end for West Africa as that free kick wasn't too far over. Elliott with the pass in. Albinson, and that's pushed behind. Finds its way back out to Johnson. Now Hunt. And I believe the flag was up. This is why we were saying the British Isles were one of the tournament favorites. They're just relentless as Slab Head makes it 3, and this time it will stand.
I mean, again, just fantastic from the British Isles. Really showing West Africa who's boss. Evan Hunt, I don't know. Mixing up player names right there. Evan Hunt, just a fantastic corner kick. And, I mean, we had the Pyrenees score within 30. 3 goals. British Isles within 30, score 3 goals. It's going to be really interesting. We've seen a lot of goals so far this match, that's for sure.
We certainly have. The Isles certainly looking for another one, as that'll be another corner. Headed out Scott back to Hunt. And that shot once again off the mark. West Africa bringing the ball forward now into the British end, but Super Hoops mopping up with a good challenge on Grimace. Now the counter here for the Isles. Here comes Patterson, losing out to Momo Adamu.
Again, as you were saying in the first match, goal difference is a huge thing to consider, especially when it comes to groups like these. So West Africa are going to want to make sure that they don't let the glove slip too far off.
Certainly incentive to keep fighting even when they are down a huge deficit like this. As we take a look, there was a question of whether the ball had crossed the goal line, but the goalkeeper, Gianluigi Buffon, doing a great job of keeping it on the right side of the line for West Africa. They really couldn't afford to go down 4-0 before the half.
I think 4-0 going into the locker room, you got to feel some... Oh, and there it is, Eric Belmont.
Now, as soon as I say that,
we both have had our moments today of jinxing things.
It is indeed 1-1, I think. Not in this match. It's now 4-0. As here's the replay there. The cross goes in. Buffon's stretching for it, but Belmont is just too strong. Gets up and gets it into the net. And now it is indeed 4-0, as I've said. And that's just a huge blow to West Africa.
I mean, Belmont isn't particularly tall. Oh, and there's Scott. Scott trying to make it 5 before half, and Sterling Scott. Of course he does. 5 before the half.
And like I was saying, this is why we called them one of the tournament favorites. Scott taking the ball, just watch that cut to the right, taking Adamu out of the play entirely. And from there, it's just one-on-one with the keeper, and Sterling Scott just absolutely threading it into that bottom corner. So 5-0 your score at the half. British Isles absolutely dominant.
I mean, the question is, what do you even do about a team like this, right? You let's say hypothetically, right? Eric Belmont, which rarely happens, has a bad day at the office. You still got two other fantastic strikers in Sterling Scott and Don Patterson in the front three that are going to make you hurt. It's basically going to take a miracle to see a team like the British Isles have even somewhat of an off day, and today's not that day. All three of the strikers are firing on all cylinders.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for West Africa so far. 5-0 at the half. You have to think the match just about wrapped up, but we have seen crazier things in the SSL, so certainly can't necessarily write them off completely as we do get underway here in the second half. A comeback from 5-0 down, highly unlikely, but certainly not impossible.
You know, they say nothing's impossible. I've never seen the pig fly. And Eric Belmont makes it 6.
And I believe that is the hat trick for Eric Belmont. And you have to say well-deserved based on how the Isles have played.
Yeah, definitely well-deserved. And I mean, Eric Belmont is just so clinical all the time. I feel like every single time I commentate on a match that he's playing, it's just every other word is Belmont, Belmont, Belmont. What can you even do about it?
You have to wonder why Belmont hasn't been called up to get with power like that, but certainly seems to enjoy being in the minors, and so there you have it, I suppose. But here comes the British Isles once again. Apologies. And Patterson makes it 7. And
yes, he does.
Absolutely brutal display here by the British Isles, showing absolutely no mercy.
I mean, you got to feel for the West Africans. Unfortunate to go up against a team like this, especially in your first match, setting this kind of tone. I mean, I guess you could have hoped that they had defended better, but it seemed like after the first, quite literally 30 minutes, it was going to be something like that. I think that what really did them in was conceding twice right before the half. If things had gone a little bit differently, maybe we would have seen a little bit more from West Africa coming into the second half.
And I realize now I might have stepped on your toes, metaphorically speaking, a couple of times in that sequence, so I apologize, but
no worries.
Very quickly as that shot goes off the post for West Africa.
I mean, West Africa 7-0 down, finally showing maybe a little bit more of some grit. Did all the fans leave, or is that just how many came?
I think that might have been the number that was there at the beginning. It was always a little bit of an empty stadium, but
reminds me of the Club World Cup.
As Remy Terrell at least breaks the clean sheet for West Africa, getting one back. Might be cold comfort at this point, but they have managed to find a way through here.
I mean, when it comes to goal difference, 6 is always better than 7, right?
I believe that's how math works.
I've had some moments, in the producer box, I guess in the commentator box with math that have made me a little bit unsure on how correct my math is.
I was a liberal arts major. I haven't got a clue. That pass can't quite find its target, and Super Hoops able to mop it up. Knocked forward. Ultimately finds its way back to Buffoon, who has had, shall we say, not a great day at the office.
I think Not a Great Day is putting it honestly rather kindly, and I appreciate that. But there's Sean O'Leary making it number 8.
And what more can you say about this British Isles team at this point? They've been on fire from the opening whistle, and they hit the on switch and they haven't found the off switch yet.
That is for sure. I mean, I don't know. Like West Africa, I think may have been coming in with hopes of wanting to maybe sneak out a win, find a tie. The British Isles have for sure made it known that there's no way, even on a rainy day, that they're gonna find just any semblance of a point.
If anything, this being the British Isles, the rain might power them up.
That's a good theory. I think that like the more that they see rain, the more powerful they get. And there's number 9.
You run out of superlatives after a certain point to describe this team. They score more or less at will. It's a frightening and genuinely almost beautiful attack they've got as Patterson with yet another one.
It's like you see like the greatest artists of all time like put out piece after piece after piece. It's just like fantastic. And there's number 10, Tony Moff. Tommy Moff. I don't know why I said Tony. Tommy Moff with a fantastic header. Wait, did that come off of? Wait, I'm actually rather confused how that. Oh, okay. Guiding it into the back of the net on the far post. As I was saying, you just have an artist that just puts out piece after piece of just pure beauty, and you begin to say, okay, we get it. You're just that great. British Isles just putting out artwork after artwork.
I'm running down, perhaps mercifully for West Africa in this one, as they do come forward here, but ultimately that move coming to nothing once again. And you have to ask yourself, where does West Africa go from a defeat like this? How do you pick up the team after a performance like this, as Asprey, diving at it, nearly lost it? But how does one recover from such a heavy defeat on the world stage?
Honestly, it's a very good question. It's a very difficult question. A question I don't think I have the answer to. Are they going to make it 11? Buffoon just is able to sneak it around the corner. You get smacked like this, and it's not like the rest of your opponents in this group are easy either. It's Benelux and East Africa, your African rivals. I mean, I'm hoping for West Africa that they can at least make a good showing in those 2 games, but it's going to have to, I guess take it on the chin, move on, try to see if you can get 6 points out of the next 2 games. And otherwise, it is how it is.
Indeed, and that is the end of this match. British Isles. Well, we talked about the Pyrenees perhaps making a statement. This is a statement victory for the British Isles. 10-1 the final scoreline.
Yeah, it's just uncomparable. I feel like even calling a statement is like, just this is like you put a banner out on every single corner. It's like we are the best. Look at us. And you just drive your car down the street and you're like, how many banners have they put out? The British Isles just showed how fantastic they are, as we were saying both during the whole match. I mean, you're looking at this team. You got just star after star. It's going to be really interesting to see the British Isles and where they end up. And West Africa are going to have to make some of themselves in the next 2 matches.
Hat tricks for Belmont and Patterson. Belmont also managing 3 assists. Certainly an incredible day for the front line of the British Isles. 10-1 the final there as we move on to the final match of this first part of match day 1. Benelux taking on East Africa.
I think this is going to be a really good match. I think it's going to be tight. I mean, both teams really vying. I mean, I would say it's the second place, but who knows? Either could. I mean, you got Benelux, the reigning champs. They could easily pull one off against the British Isles, and same with East Africa. They're not too, I think, different in terms of just capabilities, player on player. But I think the Benelux are going to be very interesting to watch this game against East Africa. But East Africa do have a star, Miko Rashford.
Without a doubt, certainly one of the foremost players in the SSL on East Africa's side. But you look at this Benelux team, and they've got so many talented players here. De Groot up front, you saw Miedema, just so many players that always make an impact no matter what. And they are the defending champions for a reason. We'll have to see if they can defend that title effectively here. This should be a very fascinating and very telling matchup.
Most definitely. Do they have 2, 3, and 4 on the pitch? Yes, they do.
I saw 2 and 3.
4 is right there at the center back. On the
There
ball
you
right
go,
now.
then. So 3 of the 4 known Rashfords on the pitch currently.
I was under the impression that Berenson, after those 2 performances in the friendlies, was going to make the starting 11 for Benelux. Kind of surprising to see that they don't make the starting 11, but hey, they are a young player.
Berenson did have a beautiful goal in the friendly win for Benelux over the United States. In the meantime, here's Miedema putting the corner in, and that's headed away. Miedema getting it back, but is offside.
I mean, I'm not too sure who player by player was on Benelux last time, but this team have a lot of like real stars. But here's Miedema.
And they'll be pushed behind for a corner. Early attacks going the way of Benelux as that one forced behind for another set piece. Time is Hendry. Kovacs losing out, but winning it back. Puts the ball in the middle, and Nerve de Groot might have just put Benelux ahead. They are looking at it, and it will stand. Benelux up 1-0 after that great strike.
I think I was speaking earlier on how Oceania versus the USA was a 6-point match. This is definitely a 6-point match, if not more. And Benelux making an instant impact in the game, 15 minutes in, giving themselves a little bit of breathing room, and Kovacs just on it. And oh my word, that was so close to being off.
It really is a perfectly timed run, it has to be said. We find ourselves saying that a lot, but in that case, it really was perfectly timed.
Just if a hair follicle was off, they would have called that offsides, but just somehow they all stayed on.
Miedema in the box. Ball had some wicked curve on it. It falls back to the East Africa players, but only for a moment. Van Eindhoven. Mulder. But I believe that was de Groot who was offside.
Not so perfect this time.
So East didn't quite get it right on that occasion as that ball over the top for Rashford. And that's off the post and sent clear. That would have been a huge opportunity. They've still got a chance. But that one goes out of play for a throw. And that was so nearly an equalizer on the break.
East Africa really showing some life there, but what a terrible pass. Miedema not making it count. I think it was Wallerson that pushed it out.
Hendry sending in the corner, but it ends up out on the other side of the pitch. Long ball from Girard. But it finds its way back to the group, but can't quite bring it into possession. Miedema. Under challenge from Calderon. Tarandis did a really good job of winning the ball away, but here come East Africa, or at least they were coming. Now Mulder. Benelux trying again. Ball finds its way to De Groot, and once again, Nerve De Groot putting the ball in the net.
Just a fantastic move. Nerve De Groot once again finding themselves onside and just run after run. This time I think is it Kovac? Like the Kovacs to the Groot connection is just fantastic this game. I'm really going to love seeing this for the rest of the tournament, however far Benelux makes it. And just a fantastic finish by De Groot.
And Girard seemed to have De Groot pretty thoroughly covered, but just able to break away and find that half a centimeter of space he needed. So it's 2-0 to Benelux, and they're pushing for a third. And Eindhoven, Kovacs. And that's going to be a goal kick.
I think Kovacs is going to be central to this Benelux team. They're looking fantastic, and they looked really good, all friendlies. I think Benelux just has, I think maybe what British Isles has in just complete firepower, Benelux might have. And Joe Hendry makes it 3.
Well, say his name and he appears. Joseph Hendry making it 3 for Benelux.
I'm not on that first name basis where I could call him Joe, but I like to think in my mind that Joseph would be okay with that.
So Benelux making it 3-0 as we near the end of the first half. East Africa needing to find something in order to not go into the half with this big of a deficit. But once again, Benelux doing a really good job of cutting off those passing lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Benelux has just been on every single pass. It's honestly quite frightening how they're able to just kind of predict where the ball goes. Again, I don't think I've seen East Africa connect more than 2 passes.
Van Eindhoven, meanwhile, trying to hit the low cross, but blocked before it can reach another black shirt. But here they come again. Miedema taking that shot, and it goes off the mark. Potential chance now for East Africa in the attacking third. Derbatov, and the shot from Rashford the third, again off the woodwork.
You got a feel for East Africa now. 2 shots off the post that could have easily made this game very, very different. I mean, you got to feel for him.
Once again, it's certainly not for lack of trying, as that ball finds its way to Walrison. And so that is the state of affairs at the half. Benelux with a 3-0 lead over East Africa.
East Africa not able to register a shot on target. To be fair, 2 of them off the post. Benelux just look really good, in my opinion. And they have just some fantastic subs that we might get to see coming into the second half. I'm interested to see if Berenson does end up coming on, or are they going to have another wonder goal? Who knows? But nevertheless, Benelux with this current 11 is just looking all that good.
It's been a strong performance from Benelux, the reigning champions of the WSFC, coming out hot in this first match. Certainly have to be among the pre-tournament favorites to repeat. Of course, as we saw earlier, the British Isles will give them a real challenge in this group phase.
Most definitely. But again, I think as I was saying earlier, what Benelux might not have in just complete firepower, they definitely do have the pieces to tactically create a pretty nice upset.
Changes were made there for Benelux as all three of their players on the bench making their way onto the pitch here for this second half. Chart, one of the substitutes, weaving into the box and shoots it over.
I think I've bet a house before on Marcel Voda scoring a wonder goal or an outside the box shot. I think I'm feeling a similar bet today. Of course, don't gamble, but when you want to make a bet, you got to make a bet. And I'm saying Berenson's going to score a wonder goal.
Well, there you have it. The call has been made. Berenson for a wonder goal at some point in this second half. Benelux come forward in the meantime. Kovacs cutting inside, and that had some curl on it, but not enough.
Benelux certainly have not taken their foot off the gas in the second half.
Well, considering one of their group mates just won a match 10-1, goal difference very well might play a difference here. Speaking of goal difference, Miko Rashford II might have just pulled one back for East Africa. VAR looking at it, but will disallow the goal. So another near miss for East Africa.
Yeah, just offsides.
It doesn't get much closer than that, folks. A third goal that could have been for East Africa, and it goes from bad to worse as J.G. Wentworth will be forced off for injury.
Difficult scenes for East Africa. Already 3-0 down, getting disallowed a pretty nice goal. I mean, it's been really just all wayward for East Africa today. 2 off the post, 1 offsides, 1 big injury to J.G. Wentworth, a pretty, a very, very crucial player for East Africa.
Certainly make the case that they've been better than this scoreline would suggest, even though they have been behind on XG pretty much the entire match. They've had 3 very good chances that have just not happened for them. This could easily be 3-3 right now. Ball finds its way forward to Miedema, and that's pipped wide by Walverson. And another corner kick incoming. And that header fizzes over the bar, and that's going to be a goal kick. Coming to the end of this... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say the exact same thing as you. We're coming to the end of the match. East Africa really are gonna have to find a miracle somehow, but looks like Benelux wants to make it a 4th, and Walverson just gets his hands to it.
Yet another corner kick delivered in by Miedema. Back out to Miedema. Cross goes in. Sent long. Added time has come and gone very quickly, and so it's looking like, pending the final whistle, a 3-0 win for Benelux, the reigning champions, coming out strong to start their defense of the title.
A better start you can't have. A clean sheet, which I think really, only the USA can say the same thing. looked dominant against East Africa. Of course, had East Africa had maybe one or two things go right for them, it would have been a very different match. But nevertheless, also another reason why not to gamble. My bet did not hit. Uh, we'll see where I'm sleeping tonight.
I was rooting for it, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately. But Hercule Hefeweizen, your player of the match for Benelux. In East Africa, you could argue might have needed a little bit more luck than they got, but ultimately Benelux deserved winners here today. So the World Simulation Football Classic is once again underway. Group C and D have played their first matches. We saw wins for the Pyrenees Union and the US in Group C, and British Isles and Benelux in Group D. What stood out to you the most, Max?
I mean, I'm looking at this 10-1 score line. I gotta say that for sure stands out to me the most. British Isles just looking ever so dominant. For sure, tournament favorites after that first game. I mean, West Africa, maybe not the best ability wise, player by player, but you expected maybe something a little bit better. British Isles made sure that none of that was going on. And I think Benelux coming out real strong. I think Group D and Group C, I think, are probably going to be the two most interesting groups so far. Honestly, every single group's interesting. I don't know what I'm talking about. Uh, what stood out to you, though?
I think I'm the same way. You really can't look too far past that 10-1 scoreline. British Isles, one of the tournament favorites, really coming out swinging. But I also do want to go back to that first match, the Pyrenees Union. For long stretches of that match against the Alpine Federation were more or less uncontested. Alpine did get two back, ultimately making the scoreline a little friendlier, but Pyrenees Union were really showing some good stuff. They very well might have what it takes to go all the way.
Most definitely. But at the same time, I think British Isles and the Pyrenees Union both maybe showed some lapses of judgment. And on a bad day, that's what kicks you out of this tournament. It's gonna be really interesting to watch the rest of it.
Without a doubt. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this first part of the World Simulation Football Classic. Tune in a little later to see Groups A and B take the field. Until then, this has been Metafiction. On behalf of Max, thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Bye bye.